Starting a restaurant and keeping it open has always been a tremendous challenge. The hours are long, the competition is tough, the chances of failure are high.
So what does it take not to simply succeed in the restaurant business, but to be recognized as one of the best in the country? There is no one answer to that question, but there is a shining example on an island off the coast of Maine.
This is not how most chefs get a delivery of seafood in the middle of the afternoon. But Devin Finnegan is not like most chefs.
How are the babies looking?
The babies are oysters.
Do you want to hand me the oysters?
Raised just around the point.
Thank you.
On her own oyster farm. This is the first batch.
Oh, look at them.
Of the season.
Aragosta oyster. Woo-wee.
To understand Devin Finnegan's story, you have to go back to her first job. Working with her dad, who was a chef at a high-end resort in Vermont.
And I started there when I was 14.
What did you do in the kitchen?
I washed dishes, and they called me Super Dev. I was such a quick dishwasher. And I would fly around the kitchen. However, it made me really appreciate that it doesn't matter what your role is in the kitchen, they're all so important.
She eventually became a chef herself, and a dream started to take shape.
I had this vision. I always had a vision. I had a vision of how I want the tables, the plates to look. And then I realized if I'm going to work this hard, I want to work for myself. We also need to fill aiolis.
Before coming to Maine, Devin worked in superb restaurants in France, Spain, New York, and California, even though she had had no formal culinary instruction.
So I would put myself in situations that were uncomfortable, but I wasn't afraid to fail, and I wasn't afraid to be told, like, this is how you do it, because that's how you learn. They're all right here, the beach peas.
Along the way, she became passionate about using fresh, local ingredients.
This is a wild beach pea, and they actually, in like a month, they'll have real peas on them, which are edible.
It is not often you see a dream that has come true. But that is what Devin Finnegan has created here at Aragosta, an acclaimed restaurant and elegant cabins in a setting of exceptional beauty and tranquility, all with a distinctive sense of place. You opened your first restaurant here a few miles away from where we are now. It came here and opened this in 2019.
2019.
What was your vision for this place?
This was my dream. To be able to have gardens and the ocean in the background and to be able to forage ingredients and to have people stay on property. Offerings on the plate, which we're making right now.
Before dinner, there's a staff meeting to go over the menu in great detail. Each dish reflects Devin's vision and the magic of the coast of Maine.
That's how the menu is created. So there's a story upon every single course that goes out.
There's a lot of work that goes behind all the prepping in the kitchen. So it's nice for the customers to know that as well.
All right, let's have a good night. Thank you.
As guests arrive, the energy in the kitchen picks up.
Table 5, 2 top.
The excellence here doesn't come from sudden inspiration. Every dish is carefully thought out with an almost fanatical devotion to ingredients from the land and sea nearby.
I've eaten around the world. I would go to Europe every year, taking a lot of my crew. Done pop-ups in Paris multiple times. I always come home realizing the product that we have in the state of Maine is some of the best, if not in the world.
Aragosta is open from May to October, and at its peak has about 80 employees.
So 2 carrot, followed by 1 carrot, followed by a 2-top lobster bake is the bar fired. We're fired on 2 wood-fired veg, 1 is chili maple.
As the owner and chef, Devin Finnegan keeps an eye on everything. How much sleep do you get a night?
Not enough.
How much?
I mean, maybe like 6 hours, 7 hours. I don't know, it's like adrenaline. It's adrenaline.
As if her job responsibilities weren't enough, she has now come out with her first cookbook, A Kitchen on Goose Cove, which is not meant to be one of those volumes that looks pretty on a shelf but is never used.
We dialed it in to really make it for the home cook.
On top of that, Devin is raising 2 young daughters. She says she's not exhausted, but...
Here we go. Red Bull, looking for a sponsor, just saying.
So, how good is Aragosta? Well, the praise has been lavish from both food writers and customers like Kathy Proctor.
Oh, it's amazing. Like, just to have the whole gang ready to embrace you and serve you is wonderful.
You know, we have people who have stayed with us 2 or 3 times a year for 5 years in a row now. They become like an extension of your family. We've exchanged cards with them on the holidays. We see them in other places. We've had dinner at their homes at times. It's amazing.
The highest compliment yet just came from Food and Wine magazine. It named Aragosta the #1 hotel for food and drink in the entire United States.
I can't believe that, but I can, knowing how much effort and love I put into everything, and my team, my crew. So these are opening, which is great.
It seems clear that Devin Finnegan is the right woman in the right place to deliver an extraordinary experience to her guests. An experience that is, in her words, the coast of Maine, as close as we can get it.
As you might expect, Aragosta's reputation at this point is no secret. It starts taking reservations on March 1st. Those reservations for the full season are mostly filled in a day or two.
No surprise there.
Yeah.
What a place.
Yeah, but you can go Sunday afternoons out on the deck. It's more casual, don't need a reservation. Very popular with the locals. So that's another thing to keep in mind.
Yeah, good place to check out.